This video contains spoilers for Persona 4 Golden, so if you haven't played the game yet, you should probably watch this anyways. There's something bittersweet about looking back on your teenage years. It was a time that admittedly kinda sucked. Like, I don't miss the person I was back then, I don't miss having choices made for me, or constantly feeling like I was lagging behind in life. But despite that, there were still some special times that I still carry with me today. Memories like my last family vacation before my parents split up, or when I spent the night in a bar drinking loudly with friends. Nostalgia has this comforting way of dealing with melancholy. But as you get older, that comfort starts to fade, losing its magic bit by bit. The truth is, I miss those times. Hanging out with friends, having the freedom to just explore life without a care. I miss my golden years.
Nobody! Shut up!
Thanks for listening to my little rant there. You see, Persona 4 is a game that's very nostalgic for me. I first played the game in the middle of my high school years, and at the time, there weren't many anime visual novel games that were accessible to me. So, Persona stood out. Also, I was one of the few people who had a Vita, so the f else would I play? The thing is, I've played other JRPGs before, but none of them ever felt as personal the way that Persona 4 did when it came to its characters and story. The story plays off every high school boy's fantasy where you're the cool, popular kid and you fought and won the big karate and got to Jenny, but secretly you live a double life where you save the world from evil. To give a quick intro, Yu moves in with your uncle and niece for a year in the countryside town of Inaba where nothing ever happens. And then stuff immediately proceeds to happen. A string of bizarre murders, a world inside the TV filled with monsters, high schoolers with powers.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
Afterwards, you and your friends discover that someone is killing people by throwing them into the TV world. Yes, this is still an anime game. So you form an investigation team to stop and catch the guy. What makes Persona 4 special is how it's able to pull you into its world and connect you with its characters and setting. See, the Persona series has a focus on maintaining a work-life balance. Remember, you're still in high school. So when you're not busy fighting against Animal Planet and hamburger helpers down in the TV world, you're likely hanging out with friends, studying for exams, or eating the big beef bowl to be a better person. The story is filled with entertaining and fun moments of you bonding with your friends, such as Kanji losing his Speedo at the beach, or when you took a field trip to Persona 3 World with your cringe friends, and Yosuke just crushes it with the ladies on his new motorbike. The game reminds me of the times where I would meet my friends at school every day. It gave me a place to socialize, only this time magic and shit. Even as I recount these moments, it doesn't feel like I'm naming iconic scenes from a movie or TV show, but rather I'm feeling nostalgic for the good old days. But while this focus towards these slice of life moments and away from the central murder mystery might seem like it would slow the story down, it actually makes you feel more connected to Inaba. The town starts to feel like a second home, and that in turn serves as the motivation for the player to stop the killer. One of the things I find difficult with games is empathizing with the characters, including the protagonist. This means that what motivates the player character to complete their journey may not be the players. To the protagonist, their call to adventure might begin with the home they grew up in flames, and the people they love in danger. But while I understand that these are important to the character, why would I care? I don't know these people, I didn't grow up there. For me, I just need engaging gameplay, good music, and a plot that's at least decent enough to keep me invested. But Persona 4 gives you the time to live in the town and develop a bond with its many characters. Therefore, when Inaba is getting burned, you're damn sure I'm gonna care. It's the place where you spent the summer watching fireworks and eating watermelon with friends and family. And the game has a pretty good story too. It has a really cool way of incorporating character development with the supernatural stuff. The core message of Persona 4 is about uncovering the truth no matter how it is. This is clear through the main goal of revealing the killer's identity, right? But it's also shown through the personal journeys and themes explored by each of the characters. The game's levels and bosses represent distorted versions of each character's darker thoughts and insecurities. A lot of Chie's character, for example, is shaped by her relationship with Yukiko. Yukiko embodies more of a noble lady stereotype, while Chie is more tomboyish. This contrast gives Chie an inferiority complex towards Yukiko, making her feel both elated and superior when someone as admired as Yukiko depends on her so much. Thus, Chie's shadow is depicted as a dominatrix, with long black hair resembling Yukiko, sitting atop a tower of mannequins. It even wears a mask with a smiley face on it, symbolizing the cheerful front she shows on the outside, while hiding her darker emotions underneath. Hanji has a chip on his shoulder because he's afraid of being rejected for liking cute things and having feminine hobbies, a fear which I can personally relate to. He acts like a punk, but his shadow is, for lack of a better word, or rather a proper word, flamboyant. Because he was teased by girls for his interests when he was younger, he grew to feel uneasy around them. There is a fun little detail in his boss fight where he has an attack that specifically enrages the female characters and another that poisons the male characters. The female enrage thing feels pretty self-explanatory, but to be honest, I don't really get the male poison one. Theorists, go do the thing, just the theory thing, go. I could go on, but the point is that each of these characters has parts about themselves they don't want to face. And that fear is represented in the game through their shadow. The thing is, despite its insistence on being the true self, the shadow is an exaggerated caricature of these darker feelings. Yes, Chie harbors some jealousy towards Yukiko, but that doesn't define their entire relationship. She genuinely cares about her, enough to risk her life by jumping into danger in order to save her, and this was before she even had any powers. And it's not like Kanji hates women either. I mean, he gets along with the girls in the investigation team just fine, and it's heavily implied that he has a crush on Naoto.
Huh? Oh. Cool.
He just wanted to be accepted for who he was, and not be labeled and judged for his interests. While the shadows reveal truths about their hosts, it's a heavily distorted version of these truths. But when you're able to accept these parts of yourself, you can separate the truth from the exaggeration. In a way, the fog lifts. A great example of this is shown through Yukiko's journey. When you meet her for the first time, she comes across as distant and reserved, only approaching the player because of Chie. When you see her shadow, it's revealed that she holds resentment towards her family Inn for having her destiny already mapped out. Her repression symbolized as the giant birdcage in her boss fight. Afterwards, she comes to accept that these feelings exist within her, but she makes it clear that she still treasures her family Inn and the town of Inaba. The acceptance of the truth gives birth to her persona, Konohana Sakuya, symbolizing her newfound strength. From then on, she becomes more open with the player, actively making an effort to socialize with you and Yosuke, even if it pushes her out of her comfort zone. In her social link, which takes place after her rescue, she's more true to herself, declaring that she's not going to inherit the family Inn and move out of Inaba. It's actually pretty cute. She wants to become an interior designer, she's learning how to cook to take care of herself, she's excited about her new future, a far cry from what she was like at the beginning of the game. However, after imagining what her life would be like away from Inaba, she starts to realize all the things that she'll miss and makes the decision to stay and inherit the inn. Now, while this might not be the conclusion that one would expect, I really like this ending as it gives Yukiko closure. Remember, Yukiko never hated the Amagi Inn like her shadow made it seem. She hated not having the freedom to choose her own path. When she chose to stay and inherit the inn, she made that decision on her own terms. And by reaching a conclusion while still being true to herself, she was able to unlock her ultimate persona, Amaterasu. This is a beautiful way to develop characters. Watching someone grow and evolve while being there to support them, whether it's lending a hand or offering a shoulder when things get rough, feels so enriching as a player. And Yukiko is just one of the many people you end up bonding with in Inaba. Many of them actually have no connection towards the main plot of Shadows and Murders. They're just people trying to live their best lives. What Persona excels at is giving its characters weight, making them feel truly relatable. Despite its premise of high schoolers battling monsters and saving the world, the game introduces you to normal people dealing with real-life struggles. Whether it be parents struggling to connect to their kids, a boy terrified of falling short of expectations, or people coping with the grief of losing a loved one. The beauty of these interactions is how grounded they are. These characters don't need colorful anime hair or tragic backstories to define themselves. They just need a conversation and someone to listen. And it all builds up to this heartwarming ending where during your battle against the final boss, all the people you bonded with during your time in Inaba show up. They share how much meaning you meant to them and offer words of encouragement, reminding you that you're not alone. It's the perfect representation of the power of bonds. You would think that the fact that you're a high schooler with superpowers would be the most magical part of the game, but it's not. The social experience that Persona 4 provides is so unique to the Persona games, it just doesn't compare. I get sad when I see Nanako being neglected by Dojima because he's so consumed with finding his wife's killer. I feel bittersweet when Naoki and Yosuke help each other get over Saki's death. I feel like such whenever I do the Naoto romance. The game is so compelling that I actually feel empty when it's over, and heartbreak when I meet them again in New Game Plus. But fortunately, Persona 4 Golden isn't the last time I see these characters, and there are other Persona games with new friends to meet and new adventures to grind. If you really want to experience the story of Persona 4, there is the anime and the manga that are based on the games. The two mediums do a good job of defining the player character, and while both do a good job of matching the game's tone and comedy, the anime enhances more of Persona 4's comedic side, while the manga dives deeper into the drama and emotional struggles of the characters. But play the games, they're cool, I promise.
What's so great about an idol anyway, right, class? She's just a piece of inexperienced jailbait.
This game's cool.